Well, here we are yet again, everyone, with another episode of the Omnicast. I've been having a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you've been having fun listening, because, there's some great things that, we've been talking about here. I hope to have Michael back on the podcast. I have a friend named Ashley who I hope to also have on this podcast at some point in the future when she's ready or comfortable. Hope to have a good friend of mine named James Barber on the podcast, and, and many more. There's so many awesome people who I'd love to have on here. Either way, let's get down to business. Today's episode, going to obviously do the week in review for WWE. Also, talking with Michael, continuing this discussion about Pincushion 2022 is what they call their album. And of course, eventually we're also going to be talking about his upcoming album to be released, I believe, on May 7th, called Marionette. Looking forward to that. I guess there's like 13 songs on that, so it's going to be a lot of songs to share, as long as they let me do that, can keep letting me do that. I also plan on sharing, a few years ago, I was doing these things on one of my other podcasts on building unity, where I was sharing my thoughts on each chapter of my book, this manifesto, if you will, called the Pillars of Unitism. And I stopped at chapter 12 on building unity. I'm going to move on to chapter 13, which is about euthanasia. That's what we'll be talking about here. And I hope to sneak in another comedy segment. I believe it's the things that annoy Michael. That was an interesting discussion. So there you have it. I hope you have fun. Let's get right to it. So, yet again, a WWE review. A lot happening this week. The week from March 21st, 2022 through March 25th, 2022. Raw through SmackDown. But I can only fit 5 in here, plus some honorable mentions. So, from now on, like I said, I'm only going to have 3 honorable mentions, a top 5, and then for the 3 honorable mentions, I'll choose from amongst the other 3 honorable mentions, other sets of 3, I should say. I could have 3 for Raw, 3 for NXT, 3 for SmackDown. Also have 3 for each pay-per-view. It's going to be a lot of things here and there. So, quite a bit. And then, of course, also for the top 5, I'll choose from amongst the top 5 of each of those shows. So, let's get down to it. So, starting with the honorable mentions from the very bottom here, because there were a lot of good ones, I think. Pat McAfee and Austin Theory had another interesting segment. McAfee and Michael Cole are building up for WrestleMania, getting you hyped up for it. And they go to talk about Theory and McAfee's match. And that, of course, brings up Austin Theory coming up and just smacking the headphones off of McAfee. And then McAfee chases him. Cole's like, no, not again, not this again. You got him at WrestleMania. Just good stuff. Theory runs into Daddy's room, as McAfee calls it, which is Mr. McMahon's office. Locks the door behind him. McAfee knows he can't go in there and pursue it. Either way, like I've said before, McAfee is awesome in the ring. Some people don't know that. Some people never watched him do it. But I watched NXT. I'm glad I did, because I saw McAfee, how good he is in the ring. He's excellent. Prepare for greatness in that. Just going to be good stuff. I promise that. Also, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. We didn't hear anything from Knoxville this week, but Sami Zayn, giving a little promo here, building up for their match at WrestleMania. Just good stuff here. I'm excited for it, and I'm really looking forward to this, because Sami Zayn, he's talking about how Knoxville has all these tricks and stuff, but he's not going to be gullible enough to fall for them, because he's not like the idiot friends on Jackass, as he put it. Either way, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be good, a great show. It's just going to be entertaining in general. I'm not expecting any great wrestling. I'm just expecting, some funny stuff. Probably a short match, maybe like 3 or 5 minutes between Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. It'll just be funny. In the meantime, Sami Zayn's likely to lose. Either way, it's going to be good stuff. And the final honorable mention comes from NXT. This was the most entertaining honorable mention for me, because while there was other good stuff for sure, throughout the week, and I'll get more specific about that on Monday on the next Excess episode. I really enjoyed this, though. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I had like a block there, a mental block. Chase U was super entertaining. Just is one of my favorite parts of NXT, if not my absolute favorite part of NXT. Every single time I see Andre Chase and his whole Chase U thing, it's great. But this time, he had one of his students. I need to memorize the primary student's name. I want to say Bodie, but I don't think that's it. Either way, he's like screaming because he's like super amped up and stuff. And then he called the one guy a dumbass. And then Andre Chase looked over like, "Hey, where'd you get that from?" And he's like, "I learned it from you." He's like, "That's the most beautiful thing I ever heard." I love it. Gold, just good stuff. It's definitely a reason to watch NXT. So that's it for the honorable mentions. Now let's get to the top 5. From Raw, number 5, Becky's promo. Becky is just great on the mic. My brother, who doesn't really watch wrestling much, he thinks that Becky's not good on the mic, but I think he knows of like the older Becky. Becky now is just flat out awesome on the microphone, and I mean she really sells it. She's one of my absolute favorites. I still think that Alexa Bliss is the best on the microphone out of all the women, but you know, Becky is damn good herself, and she is really selling this whole rivalry between her and Bianca. I am so looking forward to it. She comes out there, talks about how the people turned on her and all that stuff. It's just, I don't know, good stuff. I love this, and she just ate up like the crowd's hatred for her and stuff. You know, it was really good. Looking forward to that. Number 4, back to NXT, Gunther and Hudson. Duke Hudson, they had a really good match. Got the crowd like going, oh, because that chest chop from hell. Gunther has like the best chest chop in the industry, and he smacked Duke Hudson's chest into oblivion, and you saw the wincing pain on everyone's face in the crowd as they saw it. Like you saw a bunch of like holding their chest, like, oh, it was awesome. I loved it. When you see those kind of crowd reactions, I dig that. Because that's what you want when you have a show that's all about entertainment. Okay. Number 3, back to Raw. Seth and AJ had an excellent match. Seth Rollins is trying to, sneak into WrestleMania. So he's trying to hijack everyone else's ride to WrestleMania. So last week he fought Kevin Owens for the chance to be Steve Austin's host and have a showdown with Steve Austin. This week, he fights AJ to replace AJ against Edge. So it's all good stuff. Everyone knows, because of the stupid rumors and the dirt sheets, everyone knows where this is heading. But you know what? WWE is really milking that. They're really taking advantage of the fact that people now know about this rumor, and they want Cody versus Seth. So when Cody finally arrives, that roar from the crowd is going to be unbelievable. Whether it's at Raw this week or WrestleMania, it's going to be unbelievable. I'm looking forward to that shit, I tell you that. So, like I said, great match there. That takes me to number 2, Seth's pursuit of a WrestleMania moment. So this, of course, preceded the match with him and AJ. You know, he kept interrupting things. He came out and he interrupted the opening segment. His mic got cut off. And then, of course, he goes to the back and yells at Sonya Deville. And, oh my God, I can't remember what his name is. I'm sorry. Adam Pearce. So he goes back there, yells at them about it. And, they said that basically he had his chance. But then, of course, he gets another chance in that match against AJ. And then after the match with AJ, he just tears everything apart. He just completely wrecks everything. He says, "There's not going to be a Raw next week until I get my WrestleMania moment." So he's demanding it. And that's when they're going to bring out Cody. Good God, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And now, that brings me to number 1, the best thing going in the industry right now, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. There's just nothing bigger than this right now. I don't give a shit what anyone said. People are like, oh, it's not the biggest match of all. But they're really selling it like it is. And that's one thing WWE is really good at, is building things up. And I think they're doing an amazing job with this. Brock comes in there because he's still out for blood for what happened to him at Madison Square Garden. He just destroys Roman's locker room. And the funniest part of all this is when he first goes into Roman's locker room, because he said he's been told by management he's not allowed to lay his hands on Roman, but unless he's provoked. So he's looking for a good provoking or provocation, as he says a good provoking though. So he's just being goofy. But he goes in there, stomps his feet on the table, breaks the table, and he just violently slams his feet on it. tries to take a drink of the champagne, spits it out, and then throws the spitting out of the champagne is what murdered me. All of this was great. This was like in several segments throughout the course of the night. And then, of course, Roman Reigns shows up, says that Brock better be out of his locker room. Brock shows up through the crowd, coming up behind Roman, scares Roman and Heyman out of the ring. Security guards get beat up by Brock Lesnar via the chair. Just an awesome way to send us here to the go-home show next week for SmackDown. I cannot wait. I'm super excited for WrestleMania. I don't know what you all feel, but I am really stoked about it. I can't wait. I can't wait for WrestleMania. So next week, a little programming note. I'm going to do a number of things to do all this. So I'm going to probably do on Friday night an episode of the Omnicast. Friday night episode. Backtrack. So I'm going to do a bunch of things on Saturday, I should say. So I'm going to do an episode of the Omnicast. Yeah, not Friday night, because sometimes I just forget. Or sometimes I'm just too tired after work, because I'll be closing that night. So yeah, Saturday morning, I'm going to do an episode of the Omnicast. And then I'm also going to do an episode of Omni Access, because I want to get all that material out there. Because, the road to WrestleMania, I want to get my predictions in. So in Omni Access, I'm going to offer my predictions for WrestleMania. I'm going to kind of preview WrestleMania on the Omni, kind of offer a little bit of brief predictions, but I'm going to get more thorough into it on Omni Access special episode on Saturday. Just great stuff here. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. WrestleMania weekend. The WrestleMania weekend starts pretty much on Friday. It's WrestleMania week in general. It's just going to be amazing. Looking forward to it. Anyways, that's enough for right now. Let's get into the rest of the show.
Appropriate indecency.
I love those girls, but man, they have one woman over there that literally has a witch's cackle. I swear to God, every morning, that she works. I can't even do it right now, but she has the literal
witch's cackle.
That the stereotypical witch, if somebody would
Oh, it was like the Crypt Keeper laugh?
No. It's it really makes me want to bring out a witch's cackle.
I know what you mean.
It literally sounds like it though. But I don't know why, but I sit there. There's two noises that are made in that snore that fucking annoys the shit out of me. Witch's cackle is one of them on bad days. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll giggle to myself, but on some days, for some reason, I'll just be in a mood and I'll hear a laugh. I'm like, God damn it, what the fuck? But then there's other things that I think of. But the second one is fucking Lois's sneeze. It's not a goddamn sneeze. Who sneezes that's you? She won't move. She won't go, nothing. It's just, she'll sit there and be reading something. She'll go, achoo. It's like, the fuck? You're just doing noises. You're not fucking sneezing. A sneeze is, there's some sort of scream that is involved, or some high pitch with your sneezes. There's never just, achoo. No movement. No.
Was he triggered?
I hear it every day that she fucking works. Every day that she works, she sneezes.
Right.
Every day. I swear to God, it's always the same thing. She's looking through fucking tags, fucking just peeping through tags, and she'll read something. She'll, I'll sit there and I'll legit get pissed off. What the fuck? That's not I swear to God, if I ever have a last day of work and she fucking is working that day, I hear her sneeze you fuck, it's my last day. What? That's not a sneeze! It's not a
I'll
sneeze!
qualify that as, like, if I ever have a
Dude,
laugh
I'll, like, dude, just fucking tie her to the chair and put, like, a Q-tip in her nose. And be like, you're gonna sneeze for real! It's gonna be a real sneeze!
The funny thing is that she would actually just sneeze a bunch like that in the process.
No movement, just, are you a fucking fighter jet now? I don't know why it annoys me so much, but it does. It's something really small and stupid.
Because it's cartoonish. That's why they don't
Dude, it's not even cartoonish! A cartoonish sneeze is my sneeze! Where I'm like, sound of all alarm. Somebody is dropping them. Because like I fucking sound like somebody like gut punched a giant. Like fuck. But she just no movement. I have movement when I sneeze. Everybody in this room. I've seen every single one of you guys sneeze. And there's always an animation to it.
Right.
It's not just stand there. What the fuck are you doing? Oh no, that shit gets me. I don't know why. I don't know why it gets me, but it does. It's it's oh my god, and that one kid, I'm not gonna say who it was because he's got problems, but he was eating in there today.
Oh.
Oh my god! The cart guy.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, like open mouth eating?
Yes! And he eats weird. Like, he eats with his mouth open, but he faces his face down. So it's like, dude, you were gonna drop everything in your fucking mouth.
When he's like this.
Yeah! No, like he's just staring straight at his phone, and he's eating it. It's crunchy shit, too. So you know it's like just like bouncing around in there, just randomly falling out all over him. Just, like, dude, you're not even eating, you're just grinding fucking a mess up and putting it on the floor now. Why am I always hungry? Why are you eating with your face down and mouth open?
I don't really feel it in my mouth open anymore.
Oh my god. You have no idea how much that gets me. My skin crawls. I immediately start getting hot. I feel like my neck is expanding. I'm like, I am going to murder you. Like, you want me to go insane? Put me in a room, tie me down to where I can't move, and have that sound going in like 40 speakers just surrounding me. I will fucking come out of there a serial killer. Like, that's all I would hear is just that. Murder. Who's doing it? Doesn't matter.
Just have you listen to Scott and Vlad chewing.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Eating corn chips.
I will spontaneously combust. I will die. I will die. I love Scott. Scott's gotten better at it.
Right.
And, no, the other day, I wanted to strangle him. I literally said in the back seat, I was like, can you slap any louder? Like, oh my god. I don't know what the fuck he put in his mouth, but the motherfucker was just, I'm like, oh. I can audibly see. Like, I become motherfucking Daredevil. I can see the smacking and flying of saliva just through audio. Ooh, I hated him. Just for those like 15 seconds. Like, all I can picture is me just punching the back of his jaw. Just, stop chewing like that! I love the guy. He is family. He is family, and that's the reason he didn't die that night. It's the reason why he didn't get this animation. He didn't get that. He just got, can you slap any fucking louder? Like, that's pretty much what he got. And he didn't even fully hear me. He just went, oh, sorry. And like, stop. But yeah, he knows. Sometimes he does that shit on purpose. I fucking know it. And I look at him like, you are so lucky! So fucking lucky that I love you, and I'm not beating your skull into the ground and then dragging you and fucking doing a curb stomp.
Right.
Like, you want to chew on something? Chew on that! God!
Chew on that.
No, but Vlad with the fucking, like, Vlad is worse with chips and fucking, like, salads. You're the worst with fucking carrots.
Yeah.
Bloodline has saved you a few times, too. Oh my god! Carrots! I'll be trying to watch a show! This is before DVR, before we got DVR. Yeah. And you just be smowing! And I'm like, I have nowhere else to watch this! Oh! I sit there and I'll turn up, and it's like you smack louder. I'm like, this motherfucker knows it! The inner demon wanted my head to spin so bad. Oh my god. Like, just start speaking reverse Latin, start floating above the couch until you're done with your meal. Fucking walls start bleeding, fucking fire pentagrams circling on the floor. You're finally done at burp, and I just relax back on the couch like, oh god, thank god that's over. Let's get back to the show. What did I miss? Everything. Reverse Latin speaking back to me, letting me know what I missed. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought that's what happened, but all I could hear was.
Hello everyone, this is Daniel Crawford, and this is my belated installment of the Inequality Chronicles. In this part, I'll be delving into Building Unity, wherein I discuss my book, The Pillars of Unitism, Chapter 13, specifically on euthanasia, or as I call it in the book, the right to die. Now, this is as important in my mind as the right to choose is, because it's all about your liberty, your control over your own life. The government should not tell you when you can and cannot die. It should not control you in that respect. I know there's in certain cases where suicide is apparently, where suicide is actually forbidden. You know, it's against the law. Assisted suicide, euthanasia is against the law in some cases. I know certain insurance companies will not pay out insurance. They will not, certain other things that you have will not pay things out to your beloved ones if you commit suicide. And all these things I think should be forbidden. They should not, I don't think that insurance companies or the government should ever tell you when you can or cannot die, what the terms of your own life can be. That should be completely under your own control. And honestly, there's no justifiable reason otherwise. Now, get it. I understand, like, the argument that you don't want people who are suffering from depression to be, you know, have their minds twisted or have it compelled upon them to commit suicide. You don't want someone to manipulate them into killing themselves. But honestly, at the end of the day, it should be left up to the individual. And I come at this as a person who has watched loved ones die, who's watched loved ones suffer, and to the point that they can no longer live. And it should be someone's right to end it on their own terms instead of just waiting for death to take them. You should be able to expect when your death is coming if that's exactly what you want. And this, it really is a liberty issue. And honestly, I think that, at the end of the day, we should leave it to individuals to choose whether they live or die, up until the point that nature gives you no more choice. So, there you have it. That, of course, is a big part of what I discuss in Chapter 13, which is all about euthanasia. It's sort of like other related issues, but it's pretty much all connected to the right to die on your own terms, and how it connects with liberty, and how I think it is inextricably connected with a more fair and just world. So, thank you for listening. We will catch you next time.
And after Dang Ready For Me, it's Fight or Flight, which is Scott's song with battling suicide, battling with the thoughts of suicide, and like you're like it's like you're done fighting to stay alive, and you're done with dealing with this pain, so you just want to end it all.
See,
And that's
when
like
you listen to that song, you can tell it's very serious. Like,
well, we both, me and Brad are gonna be like out there letting everybody know, like, these songs are us. This is us. This is
even the
who we
funny
are.
stuff. It's you being yourself.
Well, yeah, all of this music is us being us. It's just us hanging out. Dude, we talk shit half the time when we write stuff. Sometimes we're just joking with each other, and we'll say something, and then we'll rhyme off of each other.
Right.
And then, like, somebody's like, that's a good line, put it down, and that one line will become a whole fucking song.
Right.
And it's just how me and Bragg work. And like it's so fun. That's my brother. That's another family member to me.
Right.
And he and I work so well off of each other and make some of the best shit I've ever heard personally. Like, you can take it or leave it, but to me, like, how it comes together just is.
Well, when you're really feeling it, you can tell. Like that, it comes out in the song.
Oh, when we perform it live with each other, it's nothing like when you hear this shit on recording. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the music that we have. I love how it sounds, but like when it's me and him together and we're fucking just going, it's so fucking fun. Like, I can't wait to have Reality Check out there. We're gonna re-record Reality Check, and that's gonna go on Marionette. Because we were very, very, very disappointed with how
the song came out.
With how it came out halfway. I was disappointed. Like, I liked it, but then I heard certain parts of it. I was like, damn, man, I am not making what I wanted to make with this. It sounds so good when we're together, but when we recorded, we had jitters. We had recording jitters back then. But now
you guys are coming into your own.
Yeah, well, we also have a different technique that we use to record. But this one, we're going to get in the metaphorical booth, because technically there's no booth, and we're going to record at the same time.